Wonderful. So let's go to the next slide. Are we on? That wouldn't work. All right, is this handheld on? Keep going. Now it's on.
Now it's on? Oh, there we go. All right. So I put together some slides of us from the last 10 years, and I didn't stick every photo in there. So forgive me if you're not in there, but I just wanted to go over our brief history. Okay. So in 2013, we were sent out from San Antonio, Texas. Right? And it's hard to believe that we've been here 10 years, that we've made it to 10 years. It's a testament to the Lord, because there was times we were like, I'm done. I quit.
And all the pastors said, that's what I thought.
So yes, thank you for celebrating with us. Yep. So when Robert and I visited Australia for the first time in 2011, well, first time for me, not you. You were born here. But the kids and I, we got to meet the rest of Robert's family and everything. We never imagined that we'd be moving here 2 years later. We were happy in San Antonio, Texas. Robert will attest. We were happy to stay there. But the Lord brought us out here with a series of dreams and visions and the weekly Torah portion, which confirmed that we were to leave America and move to Australia. When we knew that God was leading us to come to Australia, we looked to see if there was a Messianic congregation in Canberra. We would have happily plugged in. When we saw there wasn't one, we said to Rabbi Roy, which we have a video from him later, I guess we'll start one. Rabbi Roy then started Robert on the ordination process with the IAMCS, which is the International Alliance of Messianic Congregations and Synagogues, under Rabbi Eric Lakatos. So he oversaw Robert's ordination and training.
Mentor, yeah.
And then we moved to Canberra in October 2013. So, 2013. All right. So we want to give a special thank you, though, to those who were in Canberra before we came. Although there was not a Messianic congregation in Canberra, there was an Israel awareness group who called themselves Olive Tree Ministries, who met monthly and prayed for Israel. And we want to thank you for your prayers and for also many of you who joined us. All right. Shortly after moving to Canberra, we met Jill and Erwin, who told us about the Simcha conference put on by Celebrate Messiah on the first week of December 2013. And at the conference, we met Rabbi Lawrence Hirsch and his beautiful wife, Louise. And Lawrence came to Canberra in February of 2014, and we shared with him our desire to start a Messianic congregation. Though he wanted to know, why Canberra? Why Canberra? There are so many more Jewish people in Sydney and Melbourne. Well, this is true. This is true, but when we moved to Australia, we didn't know anyone other than Robert's extended family who lived here in Canberra at the time. So in 2014, we started meeting in our home and doing Erev Shabbat dinners and getting to know people. And then we met several Israeli friends around Rosh Hashanah time. It was actually when there was the protests outside the Israeli embassy in 2014, and they discovered the terror tunnels for the first time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we stood for Israel and met some Jewish people outside the embassy and became friends, and we celebrated Hanukkah together. Then Rabbi Eric Lakatos, who was mentoring Robert for his ordination, prayed with us for a name for the congregation. And so after the next Simcha conference in 2014, we received clarity and in a dream about the name of the congregation and how to set it up. Robert woke me up with Isaiah 62 verse 1. For Zion's sake, I shall not be silent.
And I woke her up and I said, we'll call the congregation for Zion's sake. And she rolled over and
That's the name of a charity.
That's the name of a charity. Go back to
it up.
sleep. But I couldn't go back to sleep.
I Googled it. It was a charity.
It was, but I couldn't go back to sleep.
So our founding scripture is actually from verse 11. Behold, your salvation comes, and his reward is with him. And we saw how salvation was personified. And so we're like, Yeshua.
Yeah, Hineh Yeshua comes from that verse directly.
All right, so then January 6th is actually our birthday of the congregation in 2015. And so special thanks to board members, both past and present. And I want to give special thanks to Fred Winsing, though, who helped get the congregation started legally and financially with all the correct paperwork and everything.
That was some former board members who started that clap. Yes, we are so thankful to Fred. You know, when God plants something, he puts the right people in the right place. And Fred was well experienced in running much larger nonprofit organizations. And he says, oh yeah, you just need to do this, and this, and we'll do this, and this. And literally within 2 weeks, we had the name, the vision, the values, and legally we were set up and running. It was 2 weeks. And so the Lord really just kind of breathed on it and had the right people in there at the right time.
Yep. So then Robert became provisionally ordained, and HYC became a member congregation with the IAMCS, and that's the certificate there. So we continued meeting in our house, and you'll see pictures of Purim and Sukkot.
Well, let's go through these a little slow down. Go back one. So I might get my pointy device.
Why?
Because it's fun. So you'll notice that we have a lot of pictures from Purim. I guess you can understand why, because we're all dressed up. So try and figure out which of my daughters is that one. It's Elizabeth. Oh, thank you, Mom. Yes, it's Elizabeth. Of course it's Elizabeth. No, it's Elizabeth. She's like, I want to be Moses. I'm like, okay, all right. And so, but we had a wonderful reenactment of the story of Esther for Purim.
Yep. And then Sukkot.
Sukkot?
Under the sukkah at our house. So we did barbecues at our house.
Yeah.
All right. And then we did HYC's first Passover at the Canberra House of Prayer, so we would have a larger venue. So that was our first Passover. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. Then in 2016, we moved to Livestream Christian Church in Waniasa as we outgrew our home.
Yes.
And so here we have pictures of Purim again. Seems like that's the only time we really got photos of service.
Oh, well, yeah, we got photos at Purim. Well, you don't just normally take your camera to, Shabbat service. It's just not a normal thing. Well, these days we do, because that's on our phone.
And speaking of which, feel free to take photos of today. We didn't get an official photographer, so please take pictures and share them. All right, so, yes, so we did Purim there, we did Sukkot there. Yep. So there we are. And then Lawrence came up and did Passover for us.
That's right. We actually met at Vision's congregation when they were not here but over at Gladstone Street. So it was in their other building. And
that was our first dance that we did. And we used to help Celebrate Messiah in Sydney during their Passover as well as ours as well.
So it was one of those years where we were doing a Passover here, driving up to Sydney the next day, doing a Passover there, and then getting a call on the way back saying, hey, there's some Israeli backpackers. They want to stop in Canberra. We're like, yeah, we're on our way. We drove back.
Went shopping, cooked Passover, had them over.
So we had 3 Passovers. It was great. It was a lot of fun. But very busy, but it was really good.
Okay, so we met there for a while, and then we moved to Yaralumla because we outgrew Waniasa. And so Andre helped us find that location, which was great because then they had a storage cabinet that we could actually leave stuff in and not have to cart it back and forth every week. All right, so...
How many people remember carting all the speaker, Ben? Yes, body memory, right? You're like, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yes. All right, so we met there for a couple of years as well. Actually, we would have continued, but then COVID shut us down. But anyways.
COVID and the square meter rule. How many remember the square meter rule? Yeah. Well, it pushed us out of that building.
Yep, so anyways, here's some pictures of us at Yaralumla. So... Purim once again. Yeah,
Purim, yeah. Can you figure out what movie that's from? Any of the kids?
Wally.
Yeah, Wally's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay,
Robert became a support raised missionary with Celebrate Messiah, so he started leading the Canberra Seders under Celebrate Messiah. So there's a picture of that. I believe, yep. All right. And then later in 2018, Robert was fully ordained with the IAMCS, and Lawrence came up for his shmicha, the laying on of hands. So there's that, and there's another photo with Lawrence praying over us. Thank you for coming and doing that.
Yes, yeah.
All right. 2019 was a big year. It was our first bar bat mitzvah, and it was our own children, Jonathan and Abigail. They did their b'nai mitzvah together. All right. And then because we did 2016, 2017, 2018, these massive Passovers with a congregation of only like maybe 30
We were like
people.
25 to 30 people putting on, Passovers for 130. And it's just a little bit of work, and 3 years running, and we just got a little tired. So the next year we said,
Capped it at 60.
only 60.
Just us, and it was the best ever.
Not that we don't enjoy having other people with
Okay,
us. It was
but
just it was a wonderful,
it was-
precious time.
It was fun
It was
because
fun.
we had Ray and others singing, "Let my people go." It
That's
was
right, that's right, that's right.
all right. And then there was a big change that year because we used to meet every Friday night. We were still doing Friday night even when we left our home, but then we changed to Saturday mornings. So we could attract families with children. So, and then we also did Hanukkah in the park. We started that up. And so several of our Israeli friends there. All right, so then 2020, as you may remember, Purim was our last gathering together in early 2020.
So Purim, for those of you who don't know, Purim's early in the year, usually February or March. And that was right before the lockdowns
Yep.
came.
We would get together and make hamatashim for the Purim celebration. So there we are in my kitchen in gallery.
Yeah, baking
And we
cookies.
also, and we started the Tikkun Olam food
Yep.
hampers. Okay, then came COVID, and by Passover we were all in lockdown, and so we made Passover kits for people to take home. We also continued with the catering company. They delivered the food to our house, where people picked it up with their Passover kit, and so they had just ready-made Passover, just set it on their table, and they're ready to go. So, and then we asked people to send photos of their Passover table to share with everyone. So there's that.
Yeah, what was fun, it was when we looked at it back again later, you can actually see that the food is exactly the same. And this is what Eleanor reminded me, because we'd had this huge catered event, and the caterers were like, yeah, we've already bought the food. And then shutdown comes. We're like, no, we'll pay for it, just deliver it to our house, as she said. So we split it out, divvied it out for each of the families, with gloves, and social distancing, remember all that stuff, and gave it out to everybody. And it was just you roll with the things, you learn to preach to nobody for the preachers with flashy lights, and you're like, yeah, this is not what I signed up for.
No.
You're saying, okay, God, but how do you maintain a community in that sort of time? And we would share photos. We all got good at Zoom and figuring out how to do, conversations. And one of the things as a side note with Zoom, we realized that during that time, it was more important we had a short sermon, but then a long time of just chatting. Because we weren't talking to each other. We weren't actually seeing each other, and we needed each other. And so we would spend more time and linger and just chat back and forth and see how everybody was doing.
Okay. So then still 2021, still affected by COVID, we could only meet in small groups. But at least we were able to meet in smaller groups. And so this is a picture when we were living in Bangalore. But then it came down hard again at Sukkot, and we couldn't have even 10 people, or I think even less than that, in our homes. So we encouraged everyone to build their own sukkah and to share a photo. So there's that. All right, so then after lockdowns, we started meeting here at Vision Church. And then we didn't have to worry about the square meter rule because it was so large. But here I want to thank Vision. I don't know if anyone from Vision is here, but we want to thank you for blessing us and allowing us to meet here. You have been very supportive and a huge blessing for us, very generous and supportive. So by 2022, we were so wanting to be back together, and so we did a massive Passover, but half of us or more got COVID, so it had to be pushed back to May, so we did Pesach Sheni, And
which is, by the way, backup Pesach. So just so you know, if you look on the calendar, Pesach Sheni means the second Passover, but it's the backup if you can't do the first one. Well, half the congregation got COVID, so we're like, okay, push it back a month. Caterers were okay with that, and we just did it a month later.
all right, and then Rose, she reached out to Yad Vashem, who gave permission for us to display the Righteous Among the Gentiles exhibit for Yom HaShoah. So that was a wonderful event that we got to host. Then later we were given Beit HaMashiach, Celebrate Messiah's Torah cabinet. We went down for, I think it was...
Simcha or
no. I think it was when you were dedicating the Hamakaz.
That's right, yes.
So we ended up with the Torah cabinet, and Suzanne Power, she did the curtain, the parquet.
The beautiful curtain, thank you so much.
So just in time for Sade and Elizabeth's bat mitzvah. So there they were. All right. And where am I here? Did I get out of order there? I am sorry if I did. But anyways, other things that we did is we started different groups like Recovery Through Messiah, home groups, discipleship groups. We have weekly home groups, and we did have a monthly Havdalah dinner. We'd like to get that started again. All right, and then someone suggested that we go camping for Sukkot one year. And I was thinking it would just be 1 year, but then it became our annual
congregational camp.
All right,
so
though last year there was only 3 families that came camping.
It did rain 2 days, so there were just 3 of us, 3 families that...
But it's funny, it's always sunny for those who come for the day or for the barbecue.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, and then 2023, we're going through kind of fast now, was a year of rallies. So we all know what happened on the 7th of October. And just before that happened, Robert was planning a A21 March for Freedom rally, which was on the 14th of October. So after what happened in Israel and the hostages taken into Gaza, it really, like us marching for freedom.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, A21 is an organization that really helps with getting people out of sex traffic environments and all over the world. And so it was something that was on our hearts, so we did that year. Yeah. And so we'd been planning it for months and months by that point in time, and it was scheduled for the 14th of October. We debated, do we keep it, do we not keep it? When the 7th of October, we were like, no, we need to keep this. So we had a couple of congregations join us for that, but it made it very real in the reality of the hostages that had just been taken by Hamas. And so we were there, we prayed for Israel, of course, and just used that time. It was also a good preparation in the sense of the logistics of it for how to do the next, that you guys are well aware of the next year worth of rallies. So right after this one.
Yeah, then there were several Bring Them Home Now rallies, and so we made sure that we joined United with Israel to show our support and solidarity. So thank you, so many people came to that. And so we had several great conversations with different Jewish people there. And then, of course, on the anniversary in 2024, we helped host the Nain Never Again Is Now rally as well. So that's the next slide there. Yep. And so there was great response from that as well. Thank you, everyone who came. Other things. So other than that, we also were blessed by Yasvine Church, who reached out to us during this time. And they had Robert come and share on Pentecost or Shavuot at their church in Yas. And then they joined us here for Shabbat and Sukkot. So thank you for that blessing. And then a couple other blessings. One was that my friend Yafit asked me to do her son Aviv's bar mitzvah. And so we had a joint bar bat mitzvah with Aviv and our daughter Rebecca. Yeah. And then we also you know how we were doing Sukkot in the park camping, but we had kind of stopped somehow after COVID having barbecues at our house. So we started that up again, and we were having more friends who would come to that, who weren't part of the congregation. We had an Israeli backpacker even staying with us at the time, and he joined us for Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel Independence Day. And then we also had Sukkot in our backyard as well. There's a picture of that. So Sukkot, it's the next slide for that, sorry. So there's Sukkot, and that's our house here in Queanbeyan now. And so that was great. And we even did Hanukkah as well, but I don't have a picture of that. But we had the biggest delegation from Canberra that we've had so far, 22 people. Only 17 in the picture, though, going to the Simcha conference. So we're hoping to have a lot more this year because Solu is coming in concert. So
yay! And yes, they are going to make a stop through Canberra. So we're looking at around the 25th, 26th of November. So you're hearing it here first. We'll get the news out officially. But Solu, if you don't know who Solu is, S-O-L-U, find them on any device that plays music. They are a worship band in Israel that has just got a new sound, it's amazing. There's a saying that whenever God has a revival, new music is birthed. And you can almost see the two happening at the same time. And so it's just exciting to have them to come out next year. They'll be touring all through Australia. This year, that's right. February, this year, in the latter part of this year. And so we will host them here, but we'll also be going down to be with them in Melbourne as well. So we get several times.
So here we want to thank all the servant leaders of Hineh Yeshua Congregation, present and past. Thank you so much. Everyone who helped in different areas with like worship, Messianic Judaism class, recovery groups, home groups, hosting Passover, setting up every week, tearing down, just everything. We wouldn't be able to do any of this without you. And we're very, very thankful. And we thank you, Lawrence, for coming. It's been great to be able to partner and work with you because I don't think we would have made it this long either without the friendship between us. So thank you. All right.